Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back with our low deck motor back up at Pete's place, hanging out in the dyno cell because he's got this motor sealed back up. If you saw our last video, you saw this thing make about 660 horsepower, but we had a small problem with those heavily ported iron heads and he had a bit of a water leak. Now he's gone back into those things and ceramically sealed those heads, and we're ready to continue testing. We have a few different ignition boxes we're going to try, different ECUs. We're going to try about 4 of them, and through the whole test we're going to do this as scientifically as possible. We're going to keep the temperatures in the engine the same. We're going to try to keep our timing the same. We're going to verify in between each run. And we got about 4 to 5 boxes we're going to try. So real quick, if you didn't see that last video, I'll give you a quick rundown on this build. It is a low deck motor. It's 500 cubic inches, solid roller cam, heavily ported, iron smog heads, and a 6-pack intake. If you want a complete build breakdown on it and some of the history behind this engine, because Pete's had this for about 30 years, just pop back one video and we got a great breakdown of the entire build. Okay, so we got Pete here now and we're going to start talking about the boxes that we're testing.
Okay, so we're going to start off with the Orangebox, which is a box that comes with the Proform kit from Chrysler. So we utilize their distributor and their ignition box. This is a distributor that's untouched out of the box. We haven't played with advanced curves or anything else. They do have a built-in performance advance already, which seems to work quite well. So when Joe and I thought that we would this would be a good opportunity to test out some various ignition boxes and just see how they compare to one another while we're in the process of getting this 6-pack motor dialed in, which we pretty well have got sorted now. The air fuel looks real good, power's outstanding, and ultimately this is going to be a very interesting test. So we'll start off with the Orange Proform box.
Proform number 1 up.
And then we'll move from there. We're going to go to the Mopar Chromebox, which used to be our tried and true box for many decades, but you can't get them anymore. We then are going to try an FBO box, but I think we'll do that one maybe last, and we'll do the Revator box, which is a very cool ignition module that Troy and Laura from RT Garage came out with. It's gone through several revisions and they haven't been available lately, but they have a rev limiter that you can program. And I've tested this against a full-on MSD7AL and made equal power with it.
Okay, that's pretty impressive then.
That's a lot to be said for a little box. So
little box, little company.
Quite excited how that stands up, and we can't wait till we get more of those on hand.
Okay.
The last box is an FBO box made by from Don Gould from FBO. I haven't tested this box ever. I've had one sitting around, been dying to see what it's got in the tank, and here we go.
Right on. Okay, so we got the engine up to temperature and we verified that timing so we can make it consistent through all the tests, and we're ready to make our first pull on that Proform box. Okay, just finished our first test on that Proform Orange box. This thing ran strong, 5,900 RPM, 661 horsepower. Look at that torque over here, 440 at 49 it looks like. And then we did a second hit on the dyno just to back up those numbers, and this thing went even better, 665 at 58. But check out that torque, man, 651, 46, 47. Right on. So that orange box performed pretty good. Pete, what are we doing now? We're swapping over to Chromebox.
Chromebox is next.
Chromebox for number 2. Okay, so just did the Chromebox, and we were down a few numbers then over top of that Proform. So 59, we're at 658, and our torque was down to 647 it looks like. But then we did a second hit on that Chromebox, and the numbers came right back to where they were with the Proform within 1 or 2, so basically identical. So back up to 664 at 5800, and back to the big torque at looks like 653 even at 47, which is actually a number or 2 better than our Proform box. So that's pretty nice. It seems to like the second run better. So we've just done our second test on that Chromebox, and we found it performed pretty much identical to the Proform box. So we're just verifying timing, and we're gonna move on to the Revator box next. We are seeing that blow-by issue that we had last time, but Pete said, screw it, let's keep testing boxes. It does not seem to be affecting this motor at all. You saw that thing making 660 horsepower, so it does not care about that little bit of blow-by. And Pete said if it blows, it blows. So you might get a really good video out of this. Switching over to the Revator now. Let's make another pull. Dude, so that Revator is proving to be the best so far. We're up 8 horsepower over top of that Chromebox, which we saw, I think, was our best beforehand at 664.58. Come over to that Revator, 672 at 59. So it's being picked up 8 horsepower, and our torque is also up. Looks like 2 foot-pounds better at 47, up to 655 on that Revator. And we did a second run back-to-back to double check. We were down a little bit, but still better than we've been on any other box. Still 667 and 650s in there for torque. So Revator is proving to be the best so far. So Pete, we just finished up with the Revator. What do you think about that guy?
That's the high water mark so far.
Right on. So now we're going to switch over to the, what's that last one we're checking out?
This is an FBO box, which I've never used.
Okay.
4secondsflat.com. This is his latest model with a rev limiter built in. So
Oh, that's a nice feature.
we're going to see how that stands up against the other boxes.
Okay, Revator setting the high water mark, switching over to our last box now. So our FBO box has proven to be right in line with our Revator box. Just 2 horsepower down, 6,000 RPM there, 670 horse. Our torque is down a little bit. I think our best on that Revator was 655. We're at 649 at 47. So all these tests, we've had them at 35 degrees. Pete decided to pop out there, and he's putting 2 to 4 degrees of timing in it, bringing it to 37. And we'll do one more on the FBO box with an adjusted 2 degrees more of timing. Okay, after stabbing a couple more degrees, Pete actually went to 38 degrees of timing on that FBO box. And we've seen our best numbers yet, 675, 676, even at 6,000. And then looks like back up into the 650s for torque, 651. So very nice. This thing likes timing. It still has that blow-by issue, but just making all kinds of power. Okay, so we're ready to review our results. Pete, what were our findings?
Well, it was a very interesting day of testing, and some surprises in terms of how well even the stock box, the Proform box performed. So we did 2 pulls with our Proform setup. We had 661 best horsepower on one pull, 665 on the second pull. Oil got a little hotter. We are noticing that the blow-by numbers are going up, which isn't really helping things overall, but at the end of the day, 665 was our best horsepower with the Proform box. Moving along to the Chromebox, it was down a little bit. Our best run was 664, not a big change, but the torque, let's see, 658 was our first one, and 664 was our second one. The peak torque was 654 foot-pounds, which was quite surprising. Actually, it had a slightly better torque than the Proform box. Moving along to the Revator, we finally saw this motor hit some numbers in the 670 range, so that was very surprising, 672.6, and our best torque 655.5. And on a backup pull it was down slightly to 667, but again definitely made more power than the other 2 boxes. And with our FBO box, we decided to add a little timing, so we did 2 pulls, and ultimately where we ended up with was a very stout number. Although the torque didn't exceed let's see, best torque was 651.1, but this one actually made 675.9, might as well call it 676 horsepower. Again, with a good looking air fuel, but our blow-by numbers are continuously getting bigger, which means it looks like we have to go back into the motor and do some more checking to see why that's happening. I suspect that we have still water issues, but at the end of the day, we definitely proved that the Revator and the FBO box were definitely better. And I should mention that both of these boxes come with rev limiters on them, so you can adjust
okay,
rev
awesome.
Apparently the FBO box does not work well with extremely high RPM, but up and through 7,000 it's fine. On this engine it was perfectly fine. The Revator I don't think has any of those issues, and I should mention that the Revators you can't get them right now, but we fully expect that they're going to be available again, and we'll be testing when they do come out again.
Okay, right on.
Okay, so with regards to accuracy regarding what numbers we're getting from our dyno, we have this is calibrated to the nth degree of accuracy. We do not fudge or submit data to the dyno to make it read more. We are only concerned about raw numbers. So
totally.
When we get a good old iron head wedge making 670 plus, that's the real deal. That
motor's going to make that number on this dyno or another dyno within a few, and the air outside is affecting it a little bit too. But
we've tested on successive days where we have a higher barometer, which means a greater air density, and at the end of the day, the numbers are still fairly comparable. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what Pete was talking about there is the correction factor on the dyno. After we posted those big numbers of the motor last time, a couple guys asked about the correction factor. So we just want to make that totally clear for you guys. That's going to close out this video. Had another great day up here. Big thanks to Pete for inviting us up here and letting us film this to bring it to you guys. This thing's an absolute beast. It's got good info about different ignition boxes, so hopefully that can help you out in your build. If you like this video and you're new to the channel, do subscribe, hit the like button, let me know what you guys think. Got more videos coming your way soon. Thanks for watching.